We are pleased to welcome now Captain Criss Turnipseed. He's the director of the Mississippi Highway Patrol Public Affairs Division. Hey, Captain, good to see you again, sir.
Hey, Gerard, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving Eve to everyone out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I see you look like you're working today. You're in your uniform, in your cruiser, out and about. I suspect that many of the fine state troopers, the men and women who serve Mississippi in the Highway Patrol, are out there trying to keep our roads safe. I'm hearing and seeing all the national reports, Captain, that this is expected to be perhaps the biggest travel day of the year, if not the biggest in the history of the nation. Now, that includes travel by other modes other than on our roadways, but is that kind of what you guys are expecting at the Highway Patrol?
It very well could be the largest travel day of the year, but I'm going to be honest with you, Gerard, we hear that about every holiday. It's going to be the biggest one ever, but yeah, it's looking like everybody's hustling and bustling out there and going to and from, and looks like they're trying to get an early start on the holiday, and a lot of traffic out here on the road. So it very well could be the busiest one. We'll just have to wait and see after the holidays over with to kind of see what it looks like. But it's not the first time I've heard this is going to be the busiest one ever, but I don't want to discount that and say that it's not, because there is a lot of traffic out this morning.
Captain, in terms of the statistics associated with the holiday travel period, what's the time and date of start and time and date of end?
We started this morning at 6 a.m. and we will go through midnight on Sunday, December the 1st, which just means we're going to be there's going to be a lot of overtime guys out, and we're really going to pay attention to this increase in traffic and try to meet the traffic needs with extra manpower. So you're going to see a lot of troopers out during this holiday period. Hopefully it will stay dry. I know I'd heard something about some weather coming in tomorrow, but might be hit or miss. I know it's going to be cool, a cool Thanksgiving, which is different for around here in Mississippi, but we're ready to go. All our guys and gals got their marching orders, and we're ready to get out here and keep these highways safe for this holiday period.
I know it's kind of a review, but we as motorists, what do we need to be paying attention to? How do we need to drive defensively and safely?
Well, probably the two most important things you can do on your own responsibility would be, number one, put your seatbelt on. I don't have it on mine on now because I'm parked. I got a vantage point here where I'm safe and got some good internet. But wear that seatbelt, and man, just that cell phone you got there, just don't look at it while you're driving down the road. Those probably the two. Pay attention to your speed. Watch it. Most of these cars have this cruise control little feature on their cars now, so set that at a safe speed. Don't follow too closely. Give yourself a lot of good distance between you and the person in front of you. That's another common accident that we have as a result of someone rear-ending somebody or following too closely. And pay extra attention at these intersections. I tell my kids and everybody that I try to coach on driving that at any intersection, you see got two roads merging, always anticipate that other car pulling out in front of you. I mean, because when they do, you won't be surprised and you'll be able to hit your brakes and react. But don't ever take for granted that person there is going to wait for you to make it through the intersection before they pull out. If we had that mindset of defensive driving, I think we'd all be a lot safer and we reduce a lot of crashes. But that's just what happens. Hey, turn signals too. Use those. We always talk about that feature on your car. Let people know your intentions. Impaired driving, stay away from the alcohol and the other substances. If you intend to drive, get you a driver, get you a Lyft, get you an Uber, call a family member or a friend. Stay from behind the wheel if you intend to partake in recreational substances, if you know what I mean. I don't encourage that at all, but don't make your problem our problem by getting out here on the highways with it.
So one of the points you advised us of there, Captain, was to keep your distance, of course, from the vehicle in front of you. It seems that's particularly important if you've got slick roads, right? Because I know traveling from my house to the studio here, we had like a dusting of rain, and you could already tell the roads get just a little slick, especially right when they're first getting wet and that oil starts to kind of pop up and spread around and get a little slicker. But it's important to keep that distance, especially when it's wet like that, right?
It does, because you don't know what that person in front of you is going to do. If they're going to stop all of a sudden, hell, they might be on their cell phone. You don't ever know what they're doing. Uh, that's why I brought up turn signals, because those seem like they're optional equipment on cars these days. So you don't know what that car in front of you is going to do. So you want to give yourself plenty of room and resist the urge to follow too closely, and give yourself plenty of time, and that way, hopefully, we won't have a rear end collision. Those and intersection collisions are probably the two most common crashes that we have. That's why I brought those two up.
So are our state troopers, the men and women in uniform, are they working overtime? I know you said something about that earlier. So it's all hands on deck when you got a busy travel period like we do here.
It is. We have a lot of overtime details that are offered through the holiday period to supplement our manpower. You know, way we work, for every two guys, one of them's off and one of them's on. So you've got opposite shifts working. You might have some on days off while the other one works, but these overtime details, you can get those two both working instead of just one, because, you know, people got to have their time off. You can't overwork folks. So, but give them a little overtime money there, they'll come out to work, and we get two for one there. So it will give us the appearance that we have a lot more manpower than is actually usually available on any given day.
Captain, just as a reminder, where does the Highway Patrol have purview and have jurisdiction on Mississippi's roads, and where do they not, or how does that work exactly?
Well, you got to understand what the difference of jurisdiction and responsibility is. Okay. As Mississippi Highway Patrolmen, state troopers, we have jurisdiction everywhere in the state. So everywhere we can enforce the laws. But our responsibilities are state highways and federal highways and interstate. So when we come out to work every day, those are the roads that we cover. Those are the roads we're responsible for getting on and slowing people down and making people wear their seatbelt and getting safe. But if we're riding around town, you know, we're going to get something to eat, we come out and we see somebody doing something illegal in town or not wearing a seatbelt or speeding, then by all means that state trooper can step up and address that issue.
Okay.
It's statewide jurisdiction, but our responsibility, like I said, is the state highways, federal highways, and interstates and such.
Okay. And that's generally how you assign your troopers as far as where they're to patrol, right? I mean, it's going to be on those areas, but I guess if they notice something either traveling to those areas or to and from, or perhaps someone's on a federal or state road and then they exit, but they're breaking the law, you guys can continue to travel. I mean, to track them, right?
Yes, sir. And saying that, you have county roads and stuff too that sometimes connect highways. There might be a shortcut from this highway or this highway. We cut through a county road. Well, we have jurisdiction on that county road too, so we can enforce the law there as well. But we don't get up in the mornings and go out and say, well, I'm going to go and patrol inside the city streets or main street of a certain town or county roads. We use those, but more or less we're going to and from, going to other areas and cutting through. We may have a home on a county road or something, and we might see something going home or getting on off shift. So we do have jurisdiction there.
And if something arises, I assume you would perhaps contact, alert, notify other law enforcement as well, right, at the county or city level?
Depending on what that is. If this is just a traffic violation or something like that, that wouldn't be necessary. But just depending on the level of what that is. We do come off highways and a lot of times to assist the cities and counties. They might have an issue or might have somebody that's jumped out of a car, went into the woods, or you might have something in town, whatever that may be. And we by all means will come into town and help them out. The same way they will. If we have an issue, we only have one trooper out on the highway, and it may be outside the city limits. That trooper might get involved and might get something where it's a dangerous situation. He feels more comfortable with another officer there. Our cities and counties, they'll come out and assist us too. I've had city guys come outside the city before and back a trooper up on a call, and that's how law enforcement works. We all work together, and we're here for them, and they're here for us. So we appreciate those relationships.
Captain, appreciate you coming on, sir. I hope you and all of your family have a fantastic and happy Thanksgiving, and also shout out much gratitude and thanks to the men and women of the Mississippi Highway Patrol for working hard as they are on this upcoming busy Thanksgiving holiday weekend. We really appreciate them and their service to Mississippi.
Thank you, Gerard. Happy Thanksgiving to you and all your viewers and listeners as well. And hopefully we'll have a safe and fatality-free Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll check in with you on the other side.
Yes, sir. Folks, we're coming right back in the Element Well studio.